Pam?
Well, I'll take us back to high school, albeit a little bit later than Micah did. I wanted to talk about The O.C., which came out in 2003.
Love The O.C.
Okay.
Huge. Yeah. I was hoping that one of you at least had seen some of it. It's so fascinating to me that like teens now and like Gen Z are starting to, like, every once in a while I'll pop on TikTok and I'll see these kids watching The O.C. for the first time. And I kind of like love that it still holds up, because it is kind of like a lot of the arcs towards the end, because it is like a soap opera for teens, get so insane. So it is kind of one of those shows that you kind of you can't take too seriously when you're rewatching it, even though at the time that these episodes were coming out, everyone was like, oh my God, what's going to happen this week? But yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, it's a teen soap about rich kids that are growing up in Orange County, California, and are fish out of water. This is our like touchstone to the real world, is a character named Ryan Atwood, and he's a poor troubled teen from the opposite side of the track, so to speak, and he gets taken in by the Cohen family, and because he doesn't really have a stable home life, and all of a sudden he goes from like living in like a rough and tough neighborhood and like in poverty to living in this really rich town. And so yeah, I think I just really loved, like, first of all, like my mom was born in Orange County. It's not that like Orange County is like all affluent, but it's like this just a place like I grew up visiting. So it was kind of crazy to see it like come into the pop culture zeitgeist as like what I had always considered like a smaller part of Southern California that you kind of miss, because most people just go to LA or Anaheim or San Diego. All of a sudden people are talking about like the O.C. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So that was really like part of the draw for me. And then I just kind of like stayed for the characters. Like most millennials completely fell in love with Seth Cohen. I think that was like, when you talk about archetypes on television, he was really like the turning point for what we think of nowadays when we think about like the geeky guy in high school, or like the nerd. He really ushered in this like this new era of like almost like the cool nerd. And you see like so many TV shows that have come out since the O.C., like you start to see them kind of start using Seth Cohen as the archetype for what they consider like the nerdy friend in the friend group become. Teen Wolf is like a fantastic example of this. Stiles Selinsky, Dylan O'Brien's character, it's like he's like almost like an homage to Seth Cohen, and so it's really cool to kind of see how the show has kind of impacted pop culture in that way, amongst other ways.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I would say it definitely has one of the best theme songs that I can recall in recent history by Phantom Planet. Yeah. And I used to have watch parties with friends in college for this show. We used to watch it, sit down every week. I forget, was it on what night of the week?
Fox.
Oh, no. Yeah. Wednesday.
I was going to say Wednesday,
like
because I feel like it was a Survivor O.C. combo night of sorts.
My God. Did you do betting? Did you like gamble on who would get together on the O.C. and who would be voted off the island?
That actually would have been a very good idea, thinking back on it. But no, I just echo what you were saying, Pam, about the character that Adam Brody plays, and like his constant quest to be with Summer. And you know, we won't spoil anything here, but it did kind of change the archetype of the nerd, as you were saying. And I think that, you know, that's another character that probably a lot of millennials grew up seeing themselves in, right? Just some of the challenges that he faced, maybe outside of the fact that he grew up in the O.C., but, you know, just the day-to-day challenges that he faced in going to school, and him becoming such good friends with Ryan, I think helped him along the way. And I would say another standout character in that series for me was definitely Sandy Cohen. Like, Peter Gallagher, has been in a lot of things, but his portrayal of the father figure in this series was just amazing to watch. Like, he was really, really good.
Yeah, he plays cool Jewish dad who cares very well. Like that was basically his entire shtick on the show the whole time. But he is kind of like a very heartwarming, almost kind of cool dad in that way.
Yeah, cool dad.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up the theme song to this, because the music was almost kind of like this tertiary character on the OC, and again, like one of those like things that had a really big impact on pop culture. People would tune in just to see what was going to be on the soundtrack every week on this show.
That's like
so
a
shout
very
out to
early thousands, late 90s thing.
Yeah.
Where you could get like albums of the featured music of that season.
Yeah, so many of my my favorite bands that I discovered in this time like came out of the OC. Death Cab for Cutie was a huge one. So shout out to my queen, music supervisor Alexandra Putsavas, and she has gone on to shape probably like almost every iconic soundtrack for a TV show or a film series you can think of. Like she worked on the Twilight movies, she did Grey's Anatomy. She also was, I believe, at least for the first season, she might still be the music supervisor on Bridgerton as well. Like she just knows how to hit it out of the park every time. And anytime I watch anything and the music is like really well picked, I get like my spider senses start tingling. I think like this is Alexandra Pasalis. And I go on IMDb and I check. I'm like, oh, yep, it's her.
You recognize her.
Adore.
I love that. I really love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, as a little music nerd, of course I would.
Saved by the Bell is another great show intro from a music standpoint.
Yeah.
It's
That's
very...
one of those like theme songs that gets stuck in your head, kind of like the Fresh Prince one. Like everybody kind of knows it. Kind
of like What the Hype, like kind of like our intro song. I get like Saved by the Bell vibes from that. That's just me, maybe.
Yeah, I think there's some DNA that they share. I think for sure. This is reminding me, the conversation about the OC is reminding me that there were actually several like high school set shows that I didn't at all watch when I was in high school, but like maybe 10 years later started watching. Two of them came to mind. The first being Veronica Mars.
Such a good one.
Amazing show.
Love Veronica Mars.
And that ended in like 07. I want to say it was like 04 to 07. And Smallville also.
So
like,
good.
Wherever that show was when I was like, I just wasn't watching WB. Like I was watching WB for the other shows. I never watched Smallville until the DVDs like 10 years later. But both of them were so good.
This is something else I was going to ask you all. Yeah, there's so many. And by the way, because of the James Gunn Superman, like the popularity of that movie, Smallville's having a resurgence because David Cornswet said he really loves Tom Welling's Superman. And so I think it's really cool that people are rediscovering it now.
Well, if you want a theme song, look no further than Remy Zero. Save me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
like,
good.
I love that you brought up like talking about how you just weren't a WB kid, because I was like, I watched almost everything on the WB in the early 2000s. And something I did want to ask you all is like if there were specific channels that you gravitate towards, because like the other thing too that you hear a lot of millennials talk about is whether they were like Nickelodeon kids or Disney Channel kids, and there's like a huge distinction there.
The answer to that for me is never Disney Channel. I don't think I ever turned it on. I don't even think I remember what channel it was. It was like 50 something or 40 something. But Nickelodeon for me. I turned on WB just only ever, I guess, Saturday mornings, apparently, or Friday nights when my family would watch Charmed. But that was about it.
Yeah, for me, it's the same thing. Nickelodeon was the go-to station, and I don't think I gravitated over to the WB. I mean, I've definitely seen episodes of Smallville, Supernatural. Dawson's Creek was on the WB initially too, right?
I think they were actually on like ABC? Basic cable. I think they were on NBC. Yeah. Well, Eric, you have an iconic Nickelodeon show on your list. So do you want to talk to us about that?
This one matters a lot to me, and especially in terms of like representation. It's not like I want to say a drama or
Dawson's
not.
Creek was on the WB. Sorry.
No really?
Kidding. Yeah.
No, I completely forgot about that.
That was right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It's the. So we talked about Nickelodeon a moment ago, and it's definitely the Saturday Night Entertainment Block, aka SNIC. You kind of just had to be there.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the? Oh, I'm mad that it's not Are You Afraid of the Dark. Although that show raised the hell out of me. Raised a bit of hell. I'm talking about All That. The variety show that was very clearly just a children's version of Saturday Night Live, but not like it's a bad thing. As a kid growing up, you don't know politics. You can afford to not know about world events or current affairs. And yet you could go and watch sketch television about a kid whose face is a slice of pizza. Or these two teens that their summer job is working at a place called Good Burger, or a very young Amanda Bynes just sits on her bed and reads mail that's written by obviously nobody and then berates it. It's just the iconic sketches that are ingrained. I used the term a moment ago, but DNA. They're in my DNA. And all that. I don't think I missed one in like 3 years. Saturday nights, I was glued to the television and I was watching All That.
Mm-hmm.
Was it All That for you?
It was All That and a bag of chips.
I was gonna say, I love that you brought up like politics, because I like one of like my strongest touchstones for All That was when Katrina used to do the Ross Perot impersonation.
Over
Do you
my
remember
head.
that? Yeah,
I
know
head.
it was over my head at the time too, but then like you look back on it, it's like that's actually pretty funny, that they had like kids like sometimes impersonating real characters.
Sometimes you would get the sense that there was something greater going on. I think with a lot of those, like kind of like whether it was like a Weekend Update thing or whatever, but like there were definitely like Everyday French with Pierre Escargot, played by Kenan Thompson, which he reprised, by the way, recently for one little short or something. It was delicious, but fall in love with the performers, because that is what they are. Like, they were kids like us, but what they were doing week in and week out was very impressive. And it's no wonder that now, many years later, Kenan Thompson is the longest running cast member on SNL, because he put in the work and had that level of work ethic early on with All That. And I wasn't surprised at all when he first joined the cast of SNL. Thought, oh, he's perfect for that. And now he's on that big grown-up show. But I will always remember the show he came from.
Mm-hmm.
This was Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger, right?
Can I take your order?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda.
Oh, man. Everything's starting to come back now. It's like the floodgates have opened.
Yeah, I mean, characters like Pizza Face, I mentioned, Josh Server, and Earboy. Earboy. He's Earboy. His ears are really big.
Or there was, what was it, Principal Pimpal? That was another Kenan Thompson. And he had the big pimple you weren't supposed to look at.
Oh my god. Yeah. And really probably my favorite recurring sketch, and it's so dumb, but like it made perfect sense at the time why they would keep doing it. Lori Beth Denberg, Silence, This is a Library. Just kids would be in a library at school, and she would be increasingly loud and obnoxious about other people not talking. It was just so, what's the word? Like, just not disjointed, but just there was a paradox. It was paradoxical. It was funny. It was absolutely my sense of humor. Probably says more about my sense of humor than any other show or any other piece of media is All That. It's just Saturday night was my night to be entertained or scared.
I think that was like, this probably did shape a lot of like millennial humor for a lot of us that tuned in, because this was a big show. It was a big deal.
Yeah. And it just makes me think of all the other great Nickelodeon shows that existed over the years, and we probably could do a separate episode just on that alone.
I think you're right. Yeah. Have either of you seen the documentary The Orange Years on Hulu?
No.
It's actually, you would both love it since you grew up Nickelodeon kids, but it basically tells the the history of the network, and there is like a huge part that is dedicated to the formation of all that, and they bring back some, like, a lot of like the like iconic like Nickelodeon celebrities from back in the day to do interviews for what it was like back then, and then also just like the big brains behind the whole operation of creating a kids network that was like cool, that was going to be fun and a little edgy.
Only if Donkey Lips is there.
I was actually just gonna bring up Hey Dude and Salute Your Shorts, because that was like,
Hey Dude.
I think that those were a little bit before my time, but I remember catching reruns on Nickelodeon. They always had the good like live action programming.
Salute Your Shorts, absolutely. I would catch. The theme song still plays rent free in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of theme songs, I mean, we were talking about Dawson's Creek earlier. I mean, that has another iconic theme song.
I kind of miss the theme song, but I get why they don't do it anymore, because they don't want to pay royalties on it.
Do they not include it?
Yeah, that's why a lot of times like they won't like even like, for example, if you binge Gilmore Girls on Netflix, they will, for the pilot, they'll play the Carole King, but they don't always play it for every episode, because they're trying to
one of the worst things ever to exist was that, but also like it's because in the non-streaming era, like they never secured the rights in perpetuity to have the theme song. So that's you like Charmed on DVD doesn't have the Love Spit Love cover of the Cure's song How Soon Is Now, or the Smiths, sorry, because of the rights issue. So you can even get DVD box sets that don't have the theme song. The theme plays, and it's a different song that, I don't know, maybe they just paid somebody $5 to have.
Every once in a while, and I honestly, I don't notice it unless I'm super, super familiar with like the TV show. So like I either like own the box set at some point and would rewatch it, or I caught a lot of reruns, but like every once in a while you'll notice that they swap out the songs too. You're like, that kind of sounds a little off, and it's because they have to go with like a royalty free something, and it completely changes the tone.
Listen, it's okay when I have to find a royalty-free thing. But you guys are the studios. Like, give us
you have money. Put that song back in.
Like, the only way to get these shows now with it intact is to have taped it on a VHS from your living room.
So true.
And you still have the VHS tapes, which would be taking up a whole bedroom of their own. Nobody has that space.
Yeah,
it's true.
But, all that really was all that for me. Yeah, that's well called.